What about the sponge? I don't mind that. Well, I guess that's true. Well, can I just use a tennis racket?
Should I do this like on the gram? I can't because my phone.
We can take clips from it and we can put it on the gram.
That's fine. Yeah, I was gonna post something and totally forgot.
We can do it later. Oh, good idea. Did you put vodka in that?
No, man.
You talked about it.
I know. I was trying to be hilarious. I think I am. Pretty funny,
y'all,
dude.
Stay hydrated.
We done already started. All right.
Welcome back. This is another episode of Deaf and Dope. I'm Jillian. He is Cory, making a goofy face over there.
I am, I'm Cory. I like this setup much better. Y'all can't see this, but this is much better. We got the stands up on some tray tables so that they hiked up.
Yeah.
It looks sketch though, but it's working. You know what I mean? And I got you up there. I can see you. You guys can't see that. But I can see Jillian right there. I'm monitoring myself down here.
Better angles on his cute face.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yo, I'm actually really excited about today's episode.
What we talking about?
Well, I didn't do the thing. Did I do the thing? Well, welcome to another episode. Is that the intro? Like, we should do something like cute.
We haven't figured that out yet.
No. We'll figure it out. But I'm excited about this episode because this was something that I felt was starting to show up more in mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk about it because it is a concept that is
it's kind of
often
taboo.
talked about, but my side of it, the experiences I'll be sharing about are kind of new. So we did some pre-production, and as usual, we got notes, and we're gonna be going off this list. Ooh, that Meyer water.
Excuse you.
Got me the burps, yo.
Damn.
You hear that?
That carbonation in that water
Mad
you're drinking.
burps. Happy New Year to everyone, by the way.
Yes, Happy New Year.
This will be the first one we do back from the new year.
Yeah, 2019, baby.
Baby. So, I'm gonna jump right into it, especially on my side of the things. I'm gonna jump right into it. What we're talking about is toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. Toxic femininity is something that's a little newer that's being introduced.
I don't think it's talked about as often.
Right. So I'm going to talk about things that I've noticed that I would consider to be toxic femininity. She's going to talk about her experiences and things that she feels is toxic masculinity.
Well, we'll be chiming in on both too.
So I wanted to start. One of the things that I'm noticing that I'm not really liking with the female community is a little concept, and you brought this up, called extreme feminism.
Yeah.
And it is this idea that women are like so woke that they are in fact hurting themselves, is how I would describe it.
I think that's one way to describe it. Now, mind you, like, feminism is an important thing. However, I don't think it's good for it to go as far as hurting men.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
It's all about equality. It's not about hurting one sex versus the other. So,
right.
And that's what I think bothers me sometimes about what I like to call extreme feminism.
And an example of those things when you speak of hurting men, like there has been this endless expectation for, and again, we'll probably get into this a little bit later, but when we start talking about dating and stuff, but there's this expectation for like men to hit on women, you know? It's not even an expectation. It's a thing that's going to happen. Like men will find you attractive. They're going to find a way to gain your attention. Now, some men know how to do this properly. Some dudes didn't either have the proper parenting or hung around the wrong people, whatever. They think that approaching them in a derogatory way is the way to go. But what you're getting now is men literally coming up to women and, you know, can I get you a drink? Something like that. And, you know, guys getting shot down, which is fine. Guys respectable, but then being called like creeps.
Now, are you referring to this as toxic masculinity or femininity?
This is toxic femininity, but this has aspects of both, right? So we just spoke on men being too derogatory, right? Being too...
Yeah, we did. And I'm going to say a quick point here. And it's interesting, and I'm guilty of this too. When it's a guy that you don't find attractive, then you're more like, oh, what a creep. Ew, blah, 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 you know. And now I have dealt with some creepy dudes that are attractive too, and you kind of separate that. But I feel like women are more inclined to be like, hee hee hee, when a guy is hitting on them in a really creepy way, but he's extra good looking. So I think there's a little bit of a double standard in some ways, but that applies to a lot of stuff when it involves either person hitting on the other. Because you could be a real ugly chick hitting on a dude and you get labeled a stalker and obsessive as a female versus a chick who is really beautiful or what that person is looking for, and he will be all about it.
Yeah. Simply put, there is going to be situations where people are courting one another, and sometimes you want to gain that person's attention or entertain that person's attention, and sometimes you don't. But it doesn't make them a creep. They're just doing what humans do. Yeah. Like shooting my shot. I'm allowed to shoot my shot. You know, you came out into a public environment, a social environment. Now, it doesn't mean that I have the right to necessarily invade your space in a negative way. But if I'm just like, hey, I really like the way you look, or, you know, oh, that dress is really nice. Can I buy you a drink? Shouldn't be demonized for that.
Yeah. You know what else is toxic, though? And this sucks as a female because this has happened to me, too. And on the masculine side is guy will offer to buy you a drink or bring a drink to you, which you should never accept a drink that you didn't see poured. But he buys a drink, you're at the bar, and you're ordering your drink. He's like, hey, let me get that for you. And you're like, okay, sure. But then all of a sudden, he won't leave you alone the rest of the night. Yeah. Like, as a woman, you can't let a guy do that because then he expects something from you. He expects a phone number. He expects you to give him attention the rest of the night. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, fellas gotta chill. Yeah. We do as a gender, we gotta chill, man. I'll be the first one to say that. We're not always doing the right thing. Yeah.
And women gotta protect themselves.
Exactly. And men have to protect women too. You know, it's our job to make sure that we're keeping our women safe. You know what I mean? Especially women who are small and not as strong as some of these guys. You know what I mean? Just naturally, like you see some dude doing something way too aggressive, and you know, it's cool to just be like, "Hey, you good?" And if she says no, like take her out of that situation. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nope. Now that's not saying that men have to be all knights in shining armors. If you don't want to get involved in an altercation, that's cool. Maybe give somebody a call, like police, and let them come handle it or something like that if you feel uneasy. So getting back to the extreme feminism part of it, I think stereotypically feminists are the girls who don't shave their armpits and they got the hair dye in their head, right?
That's a stereotype.
Yeah, that's a stereotype.
I would venture to say that most women in some form or fashion would consider themselves feminists, and that's another thing that's bad about extreme feminists. you could have different views on certain things, and all of a
What's
sudden
that on
they'll
your
say,
face? Get that off your face. What
What?
is this? Go like that. Yeah, right there. Get that? You got it.
"Did I have that on there the whole fucking time?"
No, I think it just fell on. I just noticed it. It might have been like, you know how your eyelashes.
Baby, we did a check.
We did a check and it wasn't there. It's a small fleck. It was a small fleck.
All right. As I was saying, now I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so, okay. Something that I kind of believe now, women venturing into men's sports or things that are traditionally men's sports. I don't always agree with that. And mostly because women just in general are not as strong as men. So when you reach different levels of the playing field, it's just we cannot keep up. Period.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody who was a 3-time All-American. I competed at the Division I level, and I'm strong as hell. Okay?
Yeah.
And
Swole
but I guess that would make me less of a feminist, the fact that I said that.
No,
To some people that
some
I would
people.
consider extreme feminism and
Right.
what I would consider toxic femininity.
yes. Yes. You're absolutely right. There's people out there be like, no, we should be able to compete with men. Like, yo, if you want to go out there with a bunch of grown men
Yeah.
and play that sport, best of luck to you.
Yeah. Prime example. So at the facility that I work at, we have both girls and boys volleyball. And sometimes the kids, if they missed a practice, they'll make up a practice, but they'll make it up with the other group, which is fine. The coaches allow them to do that. But when I have the boys competing with the girls, I specifically tell them, hey, don't hit as hard as you normally do. The nets are lower. The girls aren't as strong as you. I was like, if one of those girls dislocates her finger or gets a concussion because of you,
Yeah.
that's not good. I'll make you run 500 stairs because I don't want to deal with that. You know, they
Yeah.
get hurt enough on their own. And these are teenagers.
Right.
So,
Yeah, sports is a big one. Where I do believe like we should be divided in that case. Like you shouldn't always be held to the same. Can't be held to the same standards always. It's just
I certainly wouldn't want to
Genetics.
compete in a men's sport.
no, not at all.
Why would I do that? You know,
I don't know. I don't know why you would. I
get
would.
my ass whooped. You've seen when I've played water polo and co-ed leagues. You remember that?
Mhm.
It was hard.
No, I believe.
I mean, I handled my own, but that doesn't mean I should be playing with men all the time.
No.
Dude elbowed me in the throat. That didn't feel good.
Damn son. Should I whoop his ass?
Well, you can't anymore. Anyways.
So we talk about extreme feminism being something that's definitely toxic femininity.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have? Because I know some things that are toxic masculinity. I think we all do, but let's touch on one.
I think I would say the emotional side of men, like it's very ingrained into the male society that they have to be tough. They can't show emotion. They can't show sadness or weaknesses or anything like that because you're not a man if you do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bad thing. I think it's bad for relationships. I think it's bad for communication. I think it's just bad all around, you know? And I think that's why men can struggle showing sympathy and empathy for other people because they just don't care.
Yeah.
Or they pretend like they don't care.
Yeah, that's gotten me quite a few times, especially in relationships, just being a dude who's the tough guy, you know, too cool to have emotions or got to pretend like I don't really care about you. And there's nothing dope about it. Like, I don't know where I even got that from.
Yeah.
Some of it might be genetics, but I can remember, you know, the men in my family, you know, toughen up,
Yeah.
be a man.
Yeah.
It's toxic as fuck.
Boys don't cry, right?
Boys don't cry.
You know what, though? On the other end of things, though, if you want to consider something that's toxic femininity, is when women expect or call their man a wuss or you're not a real man when they start to express some emotion. We've struggled with that sometimes, but then I have to take a step back, you know, because you're a pretty you don't show emotion all the time. So when you do, it's kind of like, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
But I have to like remember that's you expressing yourself to me. But
And not make a big deal out of it.
right.
Like,
And it's okay. Women have to realize that that's okay for men to do that. They can still be strong people, just like women are. We can be strong women
yep.
and show emotion. Men can be strong and still show emotion.
A lot of women will make that mistake of when their man finally does show some emotion, being like, "Oh, well, look at Mr. Emotional," or like commenting on it in a jokey way,
And then that just closes
and,
it on
yeah,
yourself.
and then it just goes right back after that because it kind of made an example out of the situation. Like a lot of guys don't like when you do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that could lead to some very toxic behavior. I also had going along with that, the women who want their man to fight for them. So playing into that be a man thing that we talked about, there's some women who want their man to fight for them. Like literally, if somebody say something, square up with somebody and fight. And to me, that's very toxic feminine behavior. Like, do not encourage your man to fight someone.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd jump in before you would.
you shouldn't, as an adult, you shouldn't be looking to fight anybody anyway.
No, but I think it's important for you to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
I will slap somebody real quick if they grab me.
Yeah. Yeah, so will I. But that's just because that's who I am. But the expectation being there that you gonna let him talk to me like that, like, don't do that. That's just be an adult. Diffuse the situation.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who does it. Same thing goes along with you, man. You gonna let your girl talk for you? Don't buy the bait. Just don't bite at that. You know what I mean?
You go in at it together.
Yeah. Should be a group, a team effort.
Yeah. Like if something happens to you, I'm right behind you. I'm there to back you up.
Yeah. So, that was a camera check. So
Just extend your neck.
this,
all the way
giraffe
around.
naked to check it. That rhyme. Oh, that's it.
Giraffe naked to check it.
That's bars.
Yeah.
That's some bars. All right. Going along with that,
Bars.
I think that one thing that I feel is toxic is the whole dating community and this expectation that men should pay for dates. I'll start there.
Yeah.
There's more to this. There's toxicity everywhere all over this, but starting there, that men should pay for dates. I think that stems from men are breadwinners, so men should pay for dates. I think at one point in time, it made more sense for a man to pay for a date because
Absolutely.
women weren't as strong in the workforce.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What is it? 2019. So 70 years ago in the 1950s, women stayed at home.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's how it was generally. And if they did work, they worked in teaching, secretarial jobs, things like that was probably the most common professions for women. But now it's changed because the economy has changed essentially. A lot of times everybody's got to work.
Yeah.
Even if people have a partnership, and they both have to work to bring income into the household because that's what it takes now.
Absolutely. It's a very different era where the average household income in order to survive is so much higher that you got to work.
Yeah.
So that being said, women are going to school more now than they did in the days where there were pay discrepancies and stuff like that.
Now more women are graduating from college than men, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to fact check that, but I think there is a higher percentage of women graduating with a bachelor's degree than there are men.
Yeah. There's more women in school, period, just in modern day.
True.
Than there was in the past. So women are gradually growing in terms of education and like workplace abilities and skills. Now they're on the same level as men. The playing field is even. So now you got women who have, and if your employer's not a dick, comparable pay
Yeah.
to what their spouse is making
Right.
or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever,
Mhm.
is making. And so now, to say, hey, you should pay for this date, it's archaic of a
And
thought.
it's expensive too.
Yeah.
When you think of dinner, if you go to a, I don't know, moderately nice restaurant, like a Applebee's, you're looking at $25 to $30, and that's without alcohol.
And that's without getting 2 entrees.
And and okay, so drinks would add on another like $15 to $20 on top
Yeah.
of that, and then if you go to a movie, that's another $20. So you're looking at $100 for one night.
Yeah.
That's astronomical. That doesn't make
crazy.
any sense. To me, it doesn't, and I think it's important for women to recognize that. Like, if a guy takes you out on a date, and you're the one that asked him out on the date, you should at least pay half. Like, split the check or pay for what you got. Or maybe even go as far as paying for the entire date because you were the one that asked them out.
Right.
And you were
I
like,
was about
hey,
to say
let's
that,
go
yeah.
here. And of course, you don't, the next time you go out, I would expect him to pay for whatever we did that night. And that's how you should go into it equally. I mean, yeah, if they like looking at you to pay every single time, then they ain't shit and they should just move along. I mean, certainly wouldn't do that, but you don't know that until you're a couple dates in and you've been seeing somebody for a while. But we rarely, I mean, you'll buy for me sometimes, I'll buy for you sometimes, and most of the time we split the checks just because it makes more sense. I don't want him going broke paying for everything for me.
Nah. Like you tried to at Applebee's. Applebee's
No.
Story time?
Story time.
Story time. Let me tell it, because you're going
Give
to
the
lie.
background.
Well, that's when we first started dating. I'm not going to give all that background. This is a short podcast, okay? So we go out on a date to Applebee's, one of our first dates, second or third
Yeah.
date. We go to Applebee's, and
Mind you, I was prepping for a show and I hadn't eaten much that day. FYI. Okay, go ahead.
hadn't eaten much that day. And you ordered the steak dinner off of Applebee's. They got that.
They had that
Diet,
health and
healthy,
menu, whatever that
So
is.
you ordered the steak, and I'm like, okay, I get it, because like she's prepping. This is a good meal. I'm not gonna say nothing. I got it. I'm gonna cover it. And then she got hungry while I was sitting there, because we sitting there drinking for a minute,
And we were talking.
and your ass ordered the shrimp.
I got hungry again. And then I told him, I was like, all right, I'm going to order another entree. I was like, I'm still hungry. I'm going to order another entree. So I did. And then I told him, I was like, I don't expect you to pay for this. And he was like, nah, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I said, no, I'm definitely not going to. So that's actually pretty funny for a dude to be like, yeah, I know. And not even offer. I didn't even say like, no, let me help. Nope. I just sat there and stared at you.
But see, I didn't care. I was like, I got this.
Yeah, that's
I'm making
cool.
money. I can pay for my own stuff.
And you got a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the potential to make some really good money if you finesse your degrees and stuff right. You can, and your expertise.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way me as in the field that I do, well, I wouldn't say no way.
Depends.
I have to, yeah, it really depends. Being in the audio field is kind of crazy. And everything's always up in the air. But currently, where it sits right now, because my job is whack, you make more money than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And
but that's okay.
that's cool. And I ain't complaining. I'm also not expecting you to do more for me. Because
That's something that's bad. People need to get away from that.
Yeah.
Oh, you make more money for me. There are more money than me, so you have to pay for more things. No. Don't work like that.
One of y'all just gotta save your money a little bit better.
Yeah, like you should never use as an excuse.
Yeah. That's why I got the side hustle.
Because guess what? The world doesn't do that.
No.
Oh, you don't make as much money, so we're going to charge you less for this. No.
Right. That ain't happening.
No.
I was real thirsty.
How's that vodka?
There's no vodka in this.
Are you gonna burp again because of the bubbles?
I might.
Tiny bubbles.
Look, you gonna stop making fun of me, or I'm gonna get rid of all toxicity and punch you in your face since we want to be on the even field. All right. Don't punch your woman in the face. Don't. Never. All right. That was a joke. We joke like that.
Mm-hmm.
Moving right along. What are we at? 30 minutes. I want to do one more.
Yeah.
We talked about dates. I will go. I don't want to get into that. That's a long conversation because I was going to talk about marriage, but I think we know that is a construct for females. I don't think anyone is going to argue that.
No.
I mean, there might be some arguments in the comments, but
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's just do it. So marriage, to me, women can get a little toxic about it. Mostly in the sense
agree.
of kind of similarly with the dating and that expectation. There's some women come into relationships with an expectation of when you're supposed to get married, like won't even let the relationship develop naturally, will kind of force the idea of marriage into a relationship and give it a time frame and then like a dollar amount and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have everything planned out when
you got to let things happen organically.
Right. So now you get these women who are this concept of, well, ain't no ring on it, so I'm going to go out on this other date. You've been dating this guy for a year. Huh?
That doesn't show you're in a committed relationship.
Right.
I don't think women necessarily do that. That's just like, I think some women will give an ultimatum. If we don't get married by here, this date, then we're breaking out. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
If you're in a good relationship and you're happy, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
Right.
You just got to let it happen.
Such a hard concept for some women. I see it with some of my friends and stuff. You know, they'll have significant others who pressure that lifestyle on them, especially too early, and it doesn't pay off.
No.
It makes the man resentful.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's helping the relationship, you know?
And I think it's important to, once a couple is to get engaged, to remember that it's not just all about the bride. Although some men will be like, you've been thinking about this your whole life. You probably have a lot of ideas in your head already. I just want you to do it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if your significant other wants to be included in on it, and of course we're talking about male-female relationships, like same-sex relationships are be completely different dynamic. But in that instance, it's like, if you want to be involved in it, like I would fully expect to have your input on something that you want. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, for example, if for Cory, he'd want to probably pick the DJ, pick the music, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And guess what? I'd let him do it because that's you. You are musically inclined. Now, when it comes to maybe like what we're wearing,
right,
then, I'll help him pick something out. Be like, hey, that looks good. That kind of goes along with the theme. But you have to agree on those things. I'm not going to just pick colors that are like bright purple and bright pink and expect him to be okay with it. No.
Right. That's wild. It's the two of you creating something new. So the two of you should be in on the whole thing together.
And people, stop spending thousands of dollars on your weddings. Stop
Get
it.
'em.
I mean, okay. I guess I can take that statement back a little bit. If you really want to do that. But for me, I would rather put that money, save it, put it down on another house, buy a car, something like that. Yep. Like, it's just not, I don't think it's necessary to have huge, big, extravagant weddings where you're spending $15,000. That's a lot of money.
No, it is.
I couldn't do that. I would not feel okay doing that. Even though I know my dad would pay for it. I would not be okay with him doing that. I don't even think my sister's wedding cost that much.
Yeah. Yeah, the dollar amount. I mean, that's why I say, just wear basketball shorts. You know what I mean? Like,
now that wouldn't fly.
I tried. Yeah, My biggest thing with the weddings is people wasting money on the food because the food usually. And I used to work at a hotel that does weddings. The food is trash. Not only is
Yeah.
it trash.
And what have we talked about doing?
Well, I'm gonna get to that. Not only is the food not that great, I see what they do in the back hallways with that food. I watched a dude. Remember this for your next wedding. This was a chick. I watched this chick. She was coming out to serve the food. She picked a little something off of it, ate it, and sucked on her fingers and kept it moving.
Nasty bitch.
And that's what they'll do. They'll eat off the plates as they bringing them out to people. Because they don't get to eat. They got to be at the wedding for all however many hours. You guys are eating and enjoying the event. They don't get to eat for that 8 hours. They got to stand there, with the arms crossed, sitting there, looking all professional. Bruh, they be in the back, picking off people's food.
Yep.
What they're supposed to do is take shifts.
Yeah.
So people can get food and stuff.
Right.
But no, they will eat off your
what
plates and
food
shit.
does everybody like? Say it.
You talking about for us?
Yeah.
Chipotle. I want to do Chipotle.
And they cater for up to 200 people, maybe more.
That would be dope because everybody loves Chipotle, bro.
And you can a single person doesn't like Chipotle.
And you can do it however you want to because they got the vegetables and everything. So
everything would be separate. You just make your own bowl, make your own burrito.
It'd be good for the vegetarians. Good for
the vegans.
Yeah,
everybody gets what you want.
That's what I'm saying. That's perfect. Chipotle. I can't wait. It's gonna be tight.
We're gonna make people think we're engaged, and we're not.
We're not.
We're definitely not.
No, we're not. You remember Lawrence kept calling you my wife when I first met him. Shout out to Lawrence. Lawrence is our new social media director.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, man, do you think your wife would care if I came over?" And I'm like, bruh. Chill. It's my girl. Just relax. But yeah, we gonna get there eventually. In a very non-toxic way.
Any closing remarks?
Nah, I won't. I just actually, yes. In closing, ladies, from what I've witnessed, make sure that you are not using feminism as a weapon. Does that make sense? It shouldn't be used as a sword to chop men down.
Yep.
I've seen it done. Prime example, child support. They use that as a weapon.
Man, that's a whole nother time. We could spend a lot of time.
We're not gonna get into it. But that's just one example of what I mean. Don't use your ability to be a woman, and that society might look at you a certain way, might have sympathy for you.
Yep.
And so you use that as a sword or a way to bring down a person.
The family court system definitely favors mothers.
Yeah.
Even when a child should be with a father.
Absolutely.
That's a damn shame.
So, and that's coming from a kid who was in that situation when, my parents had that situation going on. So trust me, it ain't cute, but, and that's not a stab at my mom. My mom was an amazing person and she did what was right. So, no qualms there, but just in general, make sure that you're not using your feminine powers because they are powers for evil.
Women are pretty freaking powerful. I think for me, and as in closing, I definitely feel that as a generation, millennials specifically have definitely been a little bit more progressive with stereotypical gender roles and toxic masculinity and femininity. I still think we have a long ways to go, but I even believe that the generations behind us are getting better with it as well. So, we just got to learn and grow together. That's it. And stop fighting each other.
You want some?
Flavor is that?
Watermelon. Hey.
All right, y'all. That's it for today. Thank
Yep.
you for tuning in. You can check us out on... I'm drawing a blank.
We're on YouTube. That's
Game from the Gamers podcast, GFTG podcast on Instagram, Twitter. We'll be posting this up soon, so just keep an eye out.
Facebook too, facebook.com/TFTG
us out on Facebook.
podcast.
You can find me on Instagram at FitThunderCates and also on Twitter. So check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get my handle.
Okay.
KOOL_NERD. As you guys know, everything is brought to you by Cool Nerd Productions. That's my company. And I do all the audio stuff.
Yep.
She does all the fitness stuff. So if you need fitness help coming into the new year, because you want to get it, ThunderStrengthFitness.com.
Y'all, seriously, if you need some audio stuff, hit him up. He's really talented. Like, I don't know much about music, and I can tell how talented he is.
That kind of hurt. My cheeks hurt. All right. I'm out.
All right. Peace.